Hello and welcome back to another video. And as you can see, the weanlings are finally out. I need to get up on my phone the actual date that we let them out, so just give me a quick minute. We put them out on Sunday the 1st of June. They are currently at the back of our house. I'll go up and show you that now in a minute, but there's a little pen. So we had them in that pen. I'll go up and show you while I'm explaining, but we've let them out on the Sunday the 1st of June, and we're sort of weaning them into it, because with younger livestock like calves or just weanlings who haven't been out since they were young calves, they might get a little bit too excited and a little bit too giddy. The civilizing pen down below, the cows and calves were down there, so we couldn't really use that unless we brought them back up, put them on the slats, put them back out on the slats for a couple of days and let the weanlings down below and then all that. But that's just a little bit of a big faff. You're putting cattle back into the shed after they were let out for a week, and then they're back dirty in the slats that I'm after cleaning, as you can see. So we decided just to let them out at the field at the back of the house, and we've now given them since yesterday evening, which is Tuesday the 3rd of June, we gave them a little bit more grass and a little bit more room. So we're sort of weaning them, and eventually they will be let out into the whole field. But at this point now, they're out a couple of days, they're a-okay. So there's a few things I want to do in this video. The first section of grass that we let them into, they didn't have a water trough, so we had to use a blue barrel and we had to fill that up manually. So there's no need for that now anymore. They're now out into a section where they have a water drinker connected to the mains, but the water is a bit green and dirty with a bit of algae in it. So I want to get a bucket and take all that water into it, and then over the winter months where I tied the drinkers up, the ball valve up to close the valve so no water would go in case frost would damage the drinkers if there was water in it. That's still tied up, so I want to untie that and let the fresh water and clean water come back in. And then obviously they have a bit of silage left over. For the couple of days that they were left in the shed, we did put in a full bale and they only ate half of it. So there's half of it here. Now the father wants me to go and dump it and put it into the dung pile, but it's still good silage. The majority of it is still fairly good silage. So what I'm planning on doing is the 2 heifers and the 2 dry cows that we have bulled and ready for calving, that's out in the shroy, just over in that direction there. They've been out in the shroy there for about 2 or 3 weeks and they have a lot of the grass ate. But we're not going moving them now for another week or 2 until we run them in, dose them, and then we let them back out again. But probably in a different field. Don't know what field it's going to be. Most likely they won't be put back out into the shroy again. But they have a lot of that grass ate. So what I might do is load this into a box, and bring it out to them and see what they'll eat. Leave it out there for maybe a day or 2 or maybe 3 days and just see what they'll eat. And then whatever they don't eat, I'll just have to load it back into the box and dump it. If they leave a quarter of that left, if they eat half of that, that's quarter of a full bale that's left, and they don't eat it, then I can dump it. But just dumping a half a bale that's still in good quality, good condition, is a bit, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of dumping it straight away until I can see, can I get more of that eaten. But the cows and calves that's down below, we're after moving them into another little paddock, so they have plenty of grass. And obviously the weanlings won't eat it because they're out on grass with plenty of grass. So the only ones really that might have less grass than the cows and calves and the weanlings are the 4 animals out below there. So currently we do have the 135 and the transport box, but that's full of fence and stuff, as you can see. I do have the 674 here, and I have the power box on it that has dung in it from cleaning off the slats where the weanlings were, and any of the bad silage that was there. So I have to go and empty that. I'll do that off camera, and then when I come back I'll probably use the International and the power box to transport the silage that's in there into the Shroy, leave that for a couple of days. But first I want to go across the road, show you the weanlings, explain how we sort of civilize them, and I'll show you the drinker and the water that's in it, and we'll clean out the dirty water, untie the ball valve, and let some fresh water and clean water into the water trough. Now you can see the pen there, the fence and the gate. They were curtailed into that section there for a couple of days, and now they're let out to here. We have an electric tape running across there to keep them into this section for a couple of days. But as you can see here, the camera mightn't pick it up as clearly, but the water is a bit dirty, a bit green, a bit algae looking, and I have the ball valve tied up, so the valve is closed, so there's no water getting in. I have a bucket there. I want to scoop out all that dirty water as much as I possibly can. Once that's emptied, I'll take this away, let the ball valve down, let the valve open, and then some fresh clean water can get into the water trough for them. As you can hear that and see it, water is filling up. So I got as most as the water that I could get out of it with the bucket. There might have been just a very small carpet layer of water left at the bottom. The bucket was just too big to get it out, so it's not too bad. It's filling up nicely. Still a bit of a tint of green there, but it's not as bad as what it was. This side looks a bit more better. But what I might do now off camera is, while this is filling, get the bucket again and just start taking more and more water out, and then the fresh water, as I'm taking out that bad green water as much as I can, the fresh water can then start diluting the bad water and it'll cancel each other out, that sort of a way. So I'll do that off camera, and hopefully I can just get that rest of that green tint out of this side. This side is more clearer, more better looking, but I just don't like the look of this side, so that's what I'll do. That water is looking a whole lot cleaner and clearer. So, as you can see, this side was more worse than this side, but I done it to both sides, and the water on both sides now are crystal clear. You can actually see everything. So I'm going to let that fill. I assume the ball cock should stop once it lifts, yes. So everything there is working the way it should be, and the calves are also happy out as well. Eventually, once they're here for a few days and have a lot of this grass eaten, we'll probably get that electric tape down, and then we let them out then to the rest of the field, and they'll have everything then to graze. Everything. There's not really a very good crop of grass. There was no grazing bag manure put onto this field, so in some areas there might be a somewhat heavy crop of grass, but in the majority of it there's not really a lot. It's more thin, scrawny bits of grass, but they should eat whatever they'll eat, and they'll tidy it up a bit more, and then over the summer in July we can go in then and top it and tidy it up even more, the bits of grass that they don't eat. But that's basically that. They're happy out. The morning of the Sunday the 1st of June, we let them out into this little pen here. That gate was closed and they were left here for a couple of hours, just so that they can get the fresh air and sort of a couple of hours to hunger them before we let them out, and when they were in the shade, we didn't give them a whole lot of meal or a whole lot of silage, so that when we did put them out, hunger would get to them and they'd put the heads down straight away and start eating the grass, rather than jumping and flittering and all that sort of business. After a couple of hours of them in that pen, we let them out into here. That gate was closed along here, but we let them out into here then, and there was very, very small jumping and giddiness in them. Then we literally opened the gate, let them out, a little bit of running, a little bit of excitement and a little bit of jumping about the place, but nothing too hectic. Me and the father stayed put and close by watching them, just to make sure they didn't break out or anything like that. But once they settled, only took a few minutes. Once the gate was open, they flittered a small bit for a couple of seconds, but that was basically it. And yeah, then they calmed down. Their heads were then glued to the ground, and you could hear that ever nice sound of them picking up the grass and pulling it out and chewing on it. It was just a lovely sound to hear. And that would have been their second time out on grass, because obviously their first time out on grass would have been when they were calves. And now lately we've let them out into here. We have a bit of electric tape just going across there, couple of feet up there, and now they're let out into this section here. This is the field that there's 2 dry cows and 2 heifers they're all bulled. Some of them have passed their repeat date and none of them repeated, so we're assuming that they are in calf. So there's 2 ways into this field. There's this gate here, and then there's another one above. So I just, because this is classified as one of our softest fields, and we have gotten a bit of a drop of rain the last couple of days. So before I came down with the International and a box full of silage, I wanted to sort of do a ground surveillance, just to make sure that it's not too soft, and when I come in with the International, because it is a 2-wheel drive tractor and it does have narrow wheels, so it's not going to be the best on sort of softish ground. But I think it should come into that gate handily enough without any bothers. Now there is a ring feeder down there, so again, 2 options here. I can throw it into the ring feeder for them and let them eat out of that, or I could just throw it loosely onto the ground anywhere. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Now, stay lying down. I'm not here to disturb you, not here to disturb the peace. Come over to the ring feeder anyways and see what the ground in it is like. That's not too bad. I could throw silage into that if I needed to. Otherwise, again, as I mentioned, I could just throw it on the ground there. Tip the box. The box is on hydraulic, so I could just tip it up and pull out and just dump it on the ground somewhere. Could do the same there. Lift that up, tip it, tidy it up with the grape, and then put it down. Again, we have options. We have options. loader well and drive like hell. So obviously I try to fit as much onto it as possible, but there will be another fairly good second load. Now, even though this is a fairly good and big box, the transport box that's on the 135 is that little bit bigger because of the extensions. Now the power box might be wider than the transport box, but you have the extensions onto it. But there was no point unloading all that, filling this with silage, and then having to load it all up with the fencing equipment again when the power box was already on the International. Plus, look, I probably could have squeezed that all onto the transport box, but it is what it is. There's no harm in doing 2 loads. It's not going to bog up the ground too much just going in and out for 2 loads. But yeah, we'll go now and see. I might try and just instead of tipping it up onto the middle of the ground or tipping it up and putting the ring feeder over it, I think I'll just manually use the grape and throw it into the ring feeder, and that stop them from scattering it around the place, and stop them from lying on top of it, and stop them from doing their toilet duties on top of it as well. I could tip it up and then put the ring feeder over it, but I'd still have to use the grape and tidy it up and make it fit within the ring feeder. It's just better just to unload it by hand without having to lift up the ring feeder, tip it, tidy it up a small bit, and then drop the ring feeder down again, and then having to do the same with the second load. But I guess it's your own personal opinion. I'll just do it the way I'm going to do it here. Doesn't really matter. They mightn't even eat any of it, and they might eat a nice bit of it, but only time will tell. But I'm going to give it to them anyways. There's no point dumping a good amount of silage, but we'll see. Well, it's unloaded there now. I probably could have tipped it up. There wouldn't have been a whole lot of tidying if I did tip it up. But look, I've gone that far from unloading it from the box to the ring feeder by hand. I said I might as well keep going. But a bit of tidying up on the ground to do when I come back with the second load. They don't seem to be too eager about it, but that might be because they've already had a feed of grass. But we'll see. We'll go and fill up the next load. I might do all that off camera, but the next time I come back, I'll probably back the tractor in this direction and fill this area of the ring feeder up so that it's sort of somewhat evenly distributed. And yeah, there's only one or two, well, that one there with the white mark on the forehead that's really eating it. But again, as I mentioned, we leave it here for them for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, maybe 4, we'll see. And we'll see how much to eat. The only downfall is we are getting a lot of rain recently, so if this gets wet, they don't tend to eat wet silage, or silage that's too wet. So yeah, but we'll see. I'm not doubting it fully just yet. They might put a good dent into it, hopefully. But anyways, let's go and get the second load, and we'll see how full the ring feeder gets once the second load is in. Well, there it is. That's half a bale in the ring feeder for them. If they were in the shade, they'd probably get through half a bale in about a day or half a day. But now that they're out on the field, they probably still have a picking of grass left to eat. Not 100% sure now what the silage, would they be too keen on the silage, but we'll see. when we let these out here, there wasn't a whole lot of grass worth talking about. There was probably enough of grass to keep them out into this field happy and content for about 3 or 4 weeks. They've now been in this field for about 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm assuming that grass might be running a little bit short. Maybe there's another week or 2 worth of grass and pickings out there for them, but we'll see. As I mentioned, they will be brought back into the shed to get dosed, but they won't be staying in the shed. We'll be bringing them in, dosing them, and then letting them back out straight away. We're not keeping them in the shed. We'll be letting them out straight away once they are dosed. But we'll have to wait and see. Today it's Wednesday the 4th of June, so I might leave them until maybe Friday. Come back and check on it. If they have anything left, we'll see how much they have eaten and what they've left behind, if they eat anything. I don't know, but we will see. If the weather stays relatively dry and the quality of that silage stays relatively good, I might leave it out to them for a bit longer, maybe an extra couple of days. Maybe leave it out for an extra day or two and make it 4, 5 or even 6 days, and see will they have that cleared or not. But it's, you know, if I brought that to the dung pile now and just let it rot away, it's a bit of a shame, when we can have something to eat it, if they will eat it. But we'll just have to wait and see. If they don't eat it, we'll just have to put in another bit of manual labour and load it back into the box, and then go and empty it, and there could be another 2 loads in it. So I probably just made extra work for myself here by doing this, but anyways, we'll see. Please eat it, please. Promise me you'll eat it, yeah? Pinky promise? No? Will you eat it? I don't know. Anyways, we'll leave them anyways to it. I might come back Friday, that'll be 2 days, and see what they have, and then I might evaluate the situation then. Now I will better check the ring feeder for the silage. I left them a couple of days. I left them a bit more days than I was anticipating and saying early on in the video, but it looks like a bit of it is eaten. I cannot see any too much mounds above the ring feeder itself, but we'll have a closer look and see how it's doing. And there it is. Not too bad. They ate a bit of it, but there's still a bit there. They're probably not going to eat the rest of that now. It's been there for a few days now. I don't know how many days exactly. We were just busy with silage and other stuff, so I just didn't get around to actually doing it after 2 or 3 days. So yeah, anyways, I'd say it's more or less rotten. Yeah, you can kind of see that there. It is rotten, so they're not going to eat any more of that. Whatever they ate, and that's what's left. So the answer to my question, did they eat the silage? No, not really. They probably ate a small bit, but not as much as I thought. I thought they'd eat a bit more, but loaded up, as you can see, and the ring feeder is clean. Done and dusted. So they didn't eat a lot of the silage. They didn't eat as much that I was hoping and that I was expecting them to eat, but it's all dumped now. You didn't eat much of the silage, did you? No. But anyways, we have the weanlings finally out on grass since the 1st of June, the first day of June. And the rest of the livestock looking happy. Anyways, that is the cattle shed emptied. All the livestock is finally out on grass under blue skies, eating green grass. So yeah, it has been a little bit later than we were expecting. Obviously the last batch to go out was the weanlings, the 4 weanlings, on the 1st of June, which is usually probably like 4 or 3 weeks later than we'd usually have them out. We'd usually have all the livestock out, cows and calves, bullocks, heifers, weanlings, whatever we have in the shed. We'd usually have them out by the month of May, either the 1st or 2nd week of May at the the 2nd week of May at the latest. That is going to be the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my merch, the link to that will be down in the description, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care.